Hello, you guys, and welcome to your He Responds to You challenge. I am so excited to be with you guys. I'm using this thing called StreamYard. Hello. Okay, cool. I can see there's a bunch of you here. Will you post a comment? Because then I can see, I want to make sure I can see your comments. Before we get too far into this, you guys, I can't believe this happened, but look at my eye. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? I had an allergic reaction and we were staying in a house with cats, and I'm like, maybe I'm allergic to cats. So then we got a hotel to make sure I also had Wi-Fi. I'm here fully present with you and haven't seen the cats in a while, maybe like 24 hours now, and it's still there. Or this side. It's backwards, this side. So I know I look like Hunchback of Notre Dame, and we're just gonna roll with it. Hi, Anna. Hi, Lindsay. Yay, you guys are here. Oh my goodness. I've been looking forward to this so much. And I'm really curious while we have people hopping on. If you are single, hi Jessica. Jessica's here. If you're single, give us a one. Give us a one. Hi, Rabia. Oh my gosh, two Jessicas on here. If you're single, give me a one because I saw some people commenting who were joining this challenge that were in relationship. I'm like, that's so cool. And so I when I was creating the challenge, I also added in steps for people who are in relationship because he responds to you, single or in a relationship. So cool. I see Rebecca Dupree's on here, Maria, Amy, Molly, so many familiar names. Cool. Candy's on here. I saw Candy at the event last weekend. Hey girl. Christine. This is so awesome. So we shared in the email how you can win the challenge prizes, which we're giving away awesome challenge prizes each day. I can't take my eye seriously. Okay, so hi Sunita. Oh, there's so many familiar names on here. This is amazing. I'm going to give you a challenge and you're going to do it each and every day because you guys are committed to creating the love life of your dreams and realizing the power of this statement. He responds to you. And once you do the challenge, you go inside the Brave Ladies Facebook group and you'll just share, I completed the challenge and then what opened up for you. And I feel, so this is to hold yourself accountable and to also celebrate each other. And that's how you also are entering to win one of the prizes. We're giving away, a Date Smart Guide, a feminine embodied workshop, and then also my Manifest Your Evolved Man course, which the Manifest Your Evolved Man course is like a $2,000 value. You guys, I just realized I was dreaming about it last night. So we're giving away a bunch of awesome stuff. So you have to post in the group each day to be eligible to win each following day. So I know you guys are ready for this because you're all here. Michelle, and hello, everyone who's also watching the replay. And I'm live today. And then the next 2 days, it's also going to be with Chelsea Rose. And if you don't know Chelsea Rose, she's amazing. Her and I actually met inside a leadership academy like 6 years ago now. And I know some of you guys know Chelsea who are on here. She is like my co-host for everything, for my live events, for programs, for when I do programs, they're very short. She is just so powerful and she's so gifted. For the longest time, because she wasn't always a relationship coach, but she would always support me and my friends. And we're like, you're so gifted. Like, she's so gifted at this. And so she always said she would never do it. We're like, this is literally like your calling though. So she finally like opened up to that calling, right? Because I almost feel like it's a power that we can be afraid of our own power, right? So then she opened up into that, and I've just watched her serve our students and our clients into the relationship of their dreams over and over and over again. And she has just these beautiful talents that I don't have, right? My talents are different, and I love being able to bring her to you guys. So I'm really excited for her to come live with us, and you're going to love her if you haven't already met her. So that will be amazing. So with the He Responds to You challenge, you guys, let me just share a little bit of behind the scenes for me. With you guys, I literally always want to give you everything. This is like the biggest thing that I run up against where I'm like, oh, I want them, they should know this, they should know this, they should know this. And even Jessica was messaging me the other day. Jessica, I met, as what was it, Jessica, like a year ago now, or no, less than a year ago. And was reaching out for coaching. And so I was giving her, I was like, oh, and I'm like, this is such a great question too. The girls may be going through this. So I always want to give you guys everything. And then then prior, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't sit there for, 20 years though. We got to make this short and sweet and powerful. So there will be opportunity for Q&As, and then also there will be the custom bonus coaching calls with Chelsea. So please ask questions, you guys, as I'm talking. If something comes up, comment. I love seeing it. Even if I don't say anything, I'm really, if I'm looking over here, I'm also reading your guys' comments. It's fun for me. It's engaging. I want it to be like we're literally in our pajamas, even though I'm not. Actually, I'm wearing pajamas on the aloe sweats. Jessica says, woo, so helpful. I allowed an opening for a relationship versus cutting it off. Yes, you did. Yes, she did. I want this to be like we're literally in pajamas sitting in my bedroom, which I'm in a hotel room right now, but my bedrooms, I have like a big white furry rug. It's so cozy. I have creams and whites everywhere. And it's just like the most cozy sleepover spot you can imagine. So that's what I want this experience to feel like. We are all friends. We are all powerful women, shoulder to shoulder, but maybe sitting to sitting. And that's the type of conversation, right? Like think about when you're with your best friends and you guys talk about everything. That's where the good stuff is, right? So as much as I can make it like we are all hanging out, and there's powerful wisdom, powerful codes that are coming through that are making its way into your fields and supporting you and unfolding you into your love life. That's what this is like. Candy says, yes, queen. Yes, girl. You guys, Candy has the coolest pink hair. It's like bright pink and I freaking love it. Amazing. Jessica says, I'll set aside my schedule for the next 20 years for that. You're amazing. I love you. Oh my goodness. Rebecca says she went paddleboarding and now she's chilling on her back porch. That's amazing. Paddleboarding is so fun at 6 a.m. Wow. So this is so cool, you guys. I see more people trickling in. Comment where you are in the world, please. And everyone, look at those comments too. You can see where everyone's from, which is really cool. We've had so many friendships come from things like this. Love you too, babe. So right where you are in the world. And we will start to dive into today's topic, or to this whole theme. And for those of you that are hopping on late, I shared with everyone how I'm having an allergic reaction. And I don't know what it's to. And I literally look like, is it Quasimodo? What's his name in Hunchback of Notre Dame? I've never had this happen before. And I was doing my eyeliner the other day and I noticed I'm like, wow, it's like really hanging over there. California, Netherlands, Orlando, Indiana, Austin, seaside town in Boston. Wow. Look at this. This is amazing. If we have anyone who's in relationship also, please give me a 2. So inside the comments, you can go ahead and write a 2. So over the next 3 days, you guys have you have this all the time, but you have the structure over the next 3 days to really unfold into that next level of you who is calling in the relationship, the man of her dreams. And the way that these things work and the way that our work is it's really not, there's logic to it, but a lot of it isn't rooted in logic, meaning the results that we see that are quantum, they come from an intellect of the being, right? And the being, right, there's mind, right? The mind wants X to equal, wants it to all make sense. And so the mind can get it. But there's an intelligence that's beyond the mind. And if you really want to understand the science of this, Joe Dispenza is amazing. He's a neuroscientist and explains that. I always mention his name because he's changed my life. And for my people who are listening, who are like, I need the science or I need to understand the logical side of things, I highly recommend Joe Dispenza. I still love seeing where you guys are from all over the world. Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, Canada. We're in Canada. So, and hello, everyone else hopping on. We have so many people on here. This is so awesome. And remember, we're all having a sleepover. We're literally, this is like we're talking from my bedroom and with infusing the most powerful knowledge or opportunity, I want to say. So, you guys have the power, each person on here, no one is exempt from this. Hear me when I say this. No one is exempt from this. You have the power to literally shift your love life into the timeline that is of your heart's deepest desires. If there's anything that you take from the next 3 days, it's that it's understanding of like, wow, it's up to me. It's up to me. So if wherever there's any programming that says otherwise, we're literally what we're doing is we're calling that energy back to you. We're calling that energy back to you. Denver, so awesome. Wasn't expecting to be here, but listening while I'm walking my dog. That's amazing. Hi, puppy. So calling that energy back to you. And as you take on each challenge day, you are going to understand the truth of the statement, he responds to you. So men, the world, everything that we experience, they are responding to our innermost beliefs and concepts of ourself and what is possible, right? And tomorrow and the following day, we're going to get more, we're going to continue to get more specific with it. And right now, what I really want you guys to do, and I want you to write this in the comments, but I first want you to play around with this question, is what in your dream world, how do you see relationships? In your dream world, say you are floating like just a cosmic your consciousness, you're floating above Earth, and you're looking down on Earth, and you can actually see people in communication, okay? Follow me here. You can see people in communication. You can see people talking. You see love. You see romance. You see relationships. And you're looking down on Earth and you see humanity and you see relationships. You see partnerships. What is it that you want to see happening? What is it that you see happening? Please share in the comments anything that's coming up, and if you're seeing more things, stay in there and just, what do you see happening? You're looking down and you see the world, you see humanity, and people are conversating, right? People are in communication. What do you see going on between those relationships? What do you see happening between humanity? What do you see happening in union? What do you see happening in partnerships? Julie says mutual healing and understanding. It's beautiful. Wow. What do you see happening between them? Jessica says laughter, trust, connection, acceptance, love. That's beautiful. Smiling and laughing, PDA. Yes, Mo, I'm all about. I love PDA, you guys. I dated someone who didn't like it. And I learned, I need it's like a non-negotiable for me. Peace and acceptance of one's authentic self, unconditional love. Yes. Lily says fun, laughter, love. So beautiful. What else do you see happening in that union? This is so beautiful. So continuing to look at that vision and looking at what do we see possible for our world? Because what's so powerful, Sunita, hi Sunita. Sunita says deep love, trust, connection, joy, happiness. Rebecca says laughter, love, kindness. You guys, this is so beautiful. Respect and falling into our fullest potential and genuine authentic selves. Rabia says caring, receiving, ease. Candy says a man that actually courts a woman. Yes, stability, dancing, and celebrating each other. Absolutely, I love dancing. Light streaming between the heart center. Yes, Joselle. Yes, fun and sync, playful. Everyone being themselves, their power. Wow. Trust, sharing, rest, growth. Beautiful. Now, do you guys realize that you have the power to create this in the world? Do you realize that you have the power to create this in the world? Really, do you understand that each of you being here on earth with a spirit that flows through you, holding the power to create everything that you just shared? Everything that you just shared. So think about this. We have the world. When something happens in our world, right? Say all these something happens in humanity. There's someone who always goes first. There's a pack who goes first, a one, and a consciousness, an idea, a thought, and then the world follows, right? Sometimes then the world follows. So as everyone who showed up here today, I know is committed to that, right? Or you wouldn't be in my world. We wouldn't be doing this right here. So, no, like, look, understanding that we go first and then he responds, meaning our partner, right? We go first, though, the bigger vision, we go first in creating this on our earth. We embody that, we be that, we commit to that, we express everything that we just shared. We are that. And then the world follows, right? There's always where something goes first and then the world responds. Think about if you look back at everything in history, someone went first and then the world catches up. Right? So now there's always a bouncing of energies that's happening, right? And with this commitment, with everything that you guys shared, hi Amelia, we're happy you're here. With everything that you guys shared, there is this undercurrent of harmony. How beautiful. There's this undercurrent of harmony. And in order to create that, right, it also means taking an honest inventory of when we're not that, which we all go there. Am I right? Am I right? And this is where the power lies, right? It's not about, oh, a man hasn't shown up yet to love me, or right. I mean, that happens. But it's not about something outside of us happening, right? In order for us to then experience and see a world where this exists. It's we remember our true power, remember what's possible, and we commit to embodying that. Embodying meaning, you guys, if you think about this, there's energy that's always spirit, right? Life force that's always coming through us. And we can either operate on old programs, operate on certain consciousness and play that out, right? Or we can tune into, okay, this is this is the type of world that I want to see. This is what what follows that is this is the type of relationship that I want to have. Every single thing that you guys shared, what you see for the possible, what you see for the world, recognize that that's what you also desire in partnership. And I ask what you see for the world because sometimes it's easier to come out of ourselves and to look down like, what do we want to see? Refer back to what you said. Hello, everyone hopping on. Refer back to what you said, right? About how you want to see the world and notice that that is what you desire. Or check in. Is this what I want in partnership? Is this important to me? And then realizing I have the power to create this. You guys, I have full body angel bumps right now. When I realize I have the power to create this and that he responds to me, what then becomes possible for me in my life? What then becomes possible? What then becomes possible? So as we recognize and we own, and we're going to talk a lot about over the next 3 days about owning your desires, owning this is the world that I want to see. This is the type of relationship that I want to have. Dating becomes the funnest thing. Is funnest a word? I don't think it's a word. It is now. It becomes so incredibly fun because you're so strong and unwavering in that it's no longer about, I hope this happens. Can he do that? Or let me settle on this. This is who I am. And this is the world I want to see. And this is the type of relationship that I want. And this is what I believe and know is possible. And that's also faith. Dating is a faith walk, right? Dating is a faith walk. And you're going to wonder how you're going to meet your man until you do. And then you're going to wonder about something else. So wonder is also a beautiful part of the journey. And another beautiful part of the journey, everyone's saying what else they love, why I love it, is it's so funny. I'm like, I could go down here, but I would want to do a whole live on this, but which is also remember you guys, any questions that you have, I cannot bring them here, but if they don't get answered here, there's the bonus calls with Chelsea, so you can get that one-on-one support. And also, one thing I want to mention, if you're like, oh, I have this question, but I don't really know if they'll know the answer, bring the question. Because I tend to do that where I'm like, oh, because if I can't figure it out, can they figure it out? I'm not really sure, So bring the question, and I can guarantee you will be absolutely surprised. Because sometimes if we have a lone wolf tendency or an independent tendency to like always have to do things on our own, we can withhold from receiving or sharing because of that habit. So I want to mention that. So yeah, she said she's never heard that word. Dating is a faith walk. So coming back to, he responds to you. So if we look at, also, this is the part I'm coming back to that I said I could do a whole nother live on, which we will talk about this more tomorrow as well. But looking at any sort of patterns or any sort of experience in dating where you're not experiencing what you desire. Therefore, maybe you don't want to date. Maybe you put it off, or you continue to experience the same pattern. I would love for a few of you to share, like, what's something in the comments that you experience in dating where you're like, oh, like if that was transformed, that would be amazing. And the reason I want you guys to share this is also to see where you guys can relate to one another. Jessica, I would love for you to share if you're open. Jessica Lewis, what you texted me about. Because this also really illuminates that he responds to you. When there's a pattern of experiencing something, there's something in our field that then they're responding to. And sometimes it can be so unconscious and sometimes not. Jessica says attraction to unavailable men. So that's a pattern that she has experienced. And I want to keep what you share with me confidential. So everyone continue to share. If you can relate to Jessica around attraction to unavailable men, give us a 3 if you can relate to her around that. And she says hyper independence. Jackie, I feel you. So I'm curious, with hyper independence, sometimes we can have a parent, mom or dad, or a primary caregiver who relied on us too much. So we felt like as a young kid, our self was annihilated. We weren't allowed to have a healthy sense of self. So when we needed to create, we would create independence or individuate super strong because it wasn't safe to not, because then our sense of self, our individuation was annihilated, right? So I'm releasing 3. Everyone says that they can relate to you. Look at that. A lot of people can relate to that. I'm releasing the core attachment wound that brings an unavailable. Good for you. Good for you. So remember, you guys, dating is about you. So think about humans. Wait, you guys, I'm so excited. Can I just share with you guys? I'm so excited to see the results that you guys create. So I'm going to be giving you guys challenge steps. So make sure that you note the challenge step and that you implement each day, because it's in the step that the results will follow. Okay. Candy says that's so mean. Men want me sexually and nothing more. I haven't really ever been courted. It's deeply what I want. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Jessica said, opposite of independent here. It's so beautiful to see. Men want me sexually and nothing more. So when that happens, which if you can relate to Candy with feeling like men just want you sexually and nothing more, give us a 4 in the comments if you can relate to that. Right. So there has been there's a reality that exists where there's women are objectified, and that's a certain type of masculine behavior that can then, or thought process or consciousness that feeds that. Now you have the divine masculine that exists and is very present in our world. The divine masculine is very present in our world. The divine masculine is very present in our world, that protects, honors, cherish, adores. And I'm saying this to you over and over again, because as you can anchor into that belief, right? The belief, because he responds to the belief. The men that you choose and who come into your life respond to your belief. How they show up respond to your belief. They're responding to your belief. So as you know, there is a divine masculine, which this is a truth that I'm sharing with you. And you're going to continue to find evidence for it. The divine masculine exists in our world. You begin to invite it in, you begin to experience it. Now, it doesn't mean that your partner doesn't go to the other side of masculine, right? That doesn't turn into the boy, the act like a little boy, or not see you for who you truly are. It doesn't mean that those behaviors don't happen. But what he will always come back to is this, especially as you believe this and you see this in him. Okay? This is so powerful, you guys. They're so powerful. Though, yes, it exists. I recently found a man who embodies divine masculine in such a beautiful way when I was in Austin for the shift experience. Julie! Girl! What? Okay. Tell us about him. What's it feel like when you're with him? And Austin does have a lot of amazing men, you guys. Divine masculine, very present in our world. I claim that. Yes, 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 yes. This is so good. This is so good. So knowing, I'm reading your comments. Beautiful. Yeah, everyone can relate to you, Candy. Beautiful. So understanding that he responds to you. The divine masculine responds to you. And I was on another, let me go back to where I was. So as you're going out and as you're dating, understanding that dating is about you, and it's such an amazing opportunity to get to know you. So think about source, right? Think about God, think about the universe. And I always like to think about, like, okay, you have glass that was shattered. So you have glass that's shattered, and the spirit that's inside everyone is a piece of glass that's then reflecting different things to you, right? So dating is an opportunity to really get to know yourself. So whenever we have any sort of resistance, if there's a theme of resistance, we want to recognize, well, maybe there's something in me that I'm scared to see, right? Or but that I don't want to mix the two of, like, there's also the side of, say you want to date with someone and you intuitively know, okay, I don't want to see this person again. That's different. We are all about, in this space, honoring your intuition, because that's like feminine superpower, honoring that. So I wanted to continue to distinguish, and also making sure that feminine superpower isn't being confused with a fearful avoidant pattern, right? So that's a different topic. Everyone says, oh, Kelsey's on here. Hi, Kelsey. This is so awesome. Oh, wow. So knowing that dating is about you, right? And understanding that you are showing up and you're going on these dates, which you guys are going to be dating, and when you are ready. So here's, majority of you are ready, I can sense it, and some of you may not be, and you may be just getting your feet wet. I want you to honor wherever you are. This is where your inner authority is very important in this space. There are so many spaces, so many coaches, like, it's certain things that exist where that's not as seen and recognized. And in our community, it's very important that we see and recognize that, because we want to fan that flame that you have the ultimate, you know what's best for you. And also really looking at, okay, is this more of an avoidant pattern, or is this, like, do I really need to lean into this? So also discerning is very important, because we're about results and we're about shifts and we're about you calling in and experiencing the love life of your dreams. So we don't want your ego to make any crafty ways to avoid doing the thing that's actually going to support you and shifting to allow love into your life. Okay. So I wanted to highlight that. So recognizing that as you're going out and you're dating, it's an opportunity to get to know yourself. He is responding to you, right? So you have the woman who goes on a date and she has high self-worth around being courted, right? This is a great one. Candy, I'm going to use yours as an example. P.S. Don't judge me. I'm drinking Starbucks. I don't like Starbucks. But there was nothing else around. So he is going to respond to you. So if you have high self-worth around being courted, meaning like, let's use the example of him wanting to pursue your heart, right? Because I remember, Candy, you shared, you feel like men are just want you for sexually nothing more. Oh, that was a train of thought, or that was the coaching I was giving you guys that I end up squirreling all over. So we'll come back to that. But in that, what will happen, right? As the woman walks forward and she's like, I am available for my heart to be pursued, right? I'm available for for a beautiful like stimulating intellectual conversation. If that's important to you, that's what I want. If a man shows up on a date and he is just throwing passes at her, saying, you want to go to my room, like within 20 minutes, how do you think that woman's going to respond? Amelia says squirreling. Yes. How do you think that woman's going to respond? What do you guys think? Candy, how do you think she's going to respond? I want you guys to think about this. She would leave. Mm-hmm. Wendy said she would leave. Gracefully. Yes. Beautiful. That's the queen, right? The queen is graceful, and owns her voice. So, and Candy said, recently I started just saying, no, thank you. That's not who I am. Beautiful, Candy. Amelia said, deuces. Okay. I love this. This is so good. So this is amazing. I would fold on myself and become closed off. Oh, got it. Okay. So that's like your self-protection, right? Self-protecting yourself, which is natural, right? To protect yourself. So absolutely. This is where when I say dating is about you, she would say, yeah, I'm unavailable, or something like, I'm unavailable for this. I'm going to leave now. Have a great day, and walk away from it and continue on her merry life. Right. And now, as she's on a date, this same woman, let's give her a name. Let's call her Beatrice. Okay. As Beatrice is now on a date and a man is pursuing her heart and really wants to get to know her heart, how do you think she would respond? How do you think she would respond? This is so cool. I still feel like you guys, we're all hanging out in my bedroom, cozy, having those beautiful, powerful conversations. Candy says, with vulnerability. Beautiful. Yeah. Open. Jessica said yes. She would be open and attentive with warmth. Wow, these are such beautiful responses. Absolutely. She would be very present and enjoying it and being in the experience. Right? So beautiful. So coming back to dating is about you. He responds to you. And the response may be that he's no longer in the picture because he's not a match. Or the response may be that he comes closer to you because he is. It's when we're unclear and when we waver and when we're unsure that the results are like that, meaning the experiences are wishy-washy. It's cloudy. But when we're so clear on, this is who I am and this is what I desire, the rest follows, right? He responds to that. Amelia said, "This is fun. I appreciate this." Great. That's why I love asking questions. I love you guys sitting with the questions because I think it also emphasizes that you do. This whole thing, I believe everything that we're sharing, right? It's information that's already in the field that you're just ready to hear on another level, which I'm just speaking it out, but your soul already gets this, or you wouldn't be here. I truly believe that. So now coming back to, we use the example of Beatrice, who's really in herself and knows who she is and what she wants. Now let's use the example, we'll say Peggy. Okay. So Peggy is going out and dating, and Peggy doesn't know who she is and doesn't know what she really wants is out there, and is kind of feels like she might have to settle, right? And feels like, oh well, say a guy comes in and throws passes at her, and she has a pattern of then, entertaining it, but she doesn't feel good about it. It's not true for her. Some of the common things that are going on is Peggy believing, well, if I have to do this in order to receive love, he's not going to, I have to do X, Y, and Z in order to have what I want, right? Or I want to feel close, so let me be physically intimate so I can attempt to experience some sort of closeness, right? Or he's not going to really love me for who I am, so this is the only way I can receive love, right? So there's usually something going on that's then causing that behavior, but her soul, her heart knows something's out of alignment, right? Because the truth is, your guys' hearts is one of the most powerful, beautiful things about you. And so it's natural for you to want the divine masculine to pursue that. It's when we forget the power of our heart that we disconnect from it, and or we disconnect from our body, and we do things that aren't in full alignment with what's true for you, for us. um Kelsey says, okay, I'm Peggy. I love you, Kelsey. You guys, Kelsey's amazing. She was at one of my Brave Live experiences, and she's also in our High Touch Ravishing Love program. You're amazing, Kelsey. I just smile thinking of your face. And she has babies, the cutest babies in the world. Candy said, I had a great date last week. That was the first time I had that openness and vulnerability, but then he just never texted, called me after evening, though he said he wanted to see me again. Okay, this is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Candy. I love that you had a date where you experienced that openness and vulnerability. So what's really cool, you guys, is let me pulling out of it. Say just I want to paint a picture. Say you are increasing faith around something. Sometimes it takes a while for that faith to increase, and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So now, as Aaron would say, reference point. He always uses that word, which I love it. I just everyone I just led out in the world challenges at Aaron Dowdy's event last weekend. Was it last weekend? Yeah, last weekend. And Candy was there, and that was where we met. Where you're having these new reference points of what's possible. So then notice if, like, wow, if all of a sudden they're not giving us, or we're not receiving that response of what maybe is desired, watching where our mind and our consciousness goes, right? So coming back to he responds to me, and looking at and being in a place of, wow, I appreciate that openness and vulnerability so much. That was so amazing. That is what I desire to experience in relationship. And be it him or someone else, I am trusting the physical form that it is going to continuously manifest through. So as you're dating, it's also a sorting game. You're learning, this is what's important. This isn't important. Sometimes, you guys, what I thought was important to me, when it came down to it, I was like, wow, that actually wasn't as important. This is really important to me. So it's also, again, an opportunity to learn about yourself. Dating is about you. So with Candy, when she said there was openness and vulnerability, which is so cool that it was last week, because that's right after your shift experience, which you were so open and vulnerable. So realizing, anchoring into, is this important to me? Wow, this is very important to me. I'm going to continue to be this. I'm going to continue to be open and to continue to be that, because that's important to me, and know that he will respond to me, right? Whether it is not being in my experience and or coming towards me. And also even before that is this what I want? Right? I want to anchor that in. Is this what's important to me? Um, and then, okay, beautiful. Candy said that a week passed and then the fear caught up. That's amazing. So you guys, when the fear comes in, it is just what I call an opener. See the fear as an opener to opening and deepening your faith into what's possible. Anytime something comes up, it's wow. This is an opening for me to actually deepen into what I really want and what is really important to me, and to anchor my faith into that, into trusting and knowing that that is what I already have. And the physical experience with a human is going to manifest into my experience. So it's not about fear not coming up. Anyone who tells you that it's not about that not happening. It's an opportunity to deepen into your faith. So know that that's okay. And that's a beautiful part of the journey, because if fear's not coming up, we're not really expanding ourselves. And remember, when we looked at the vision that we have for the world, you guys, we are being it. We are creating the faith of, we are saying, what I'm sharing with you guys, if our whole planet, the reality is it's not like that right now. But there's a possibility, there's a timeline where that does exist. And it's up to us to have that faith and to be that and to date from that space. So that meaning that there is a dissonance where there's like, oh, the reality is different than what I'm seeing or desiring, and my faith is here, and then my faith is here for in my partnership in this lifetime, because it will happen in a way that you also least expect it. He will come into your life, your partner will come into your life in a way that you least expect it. And it's about knowing that this is a faith walk, and where you guys are so in love with your life that he is just this amazing added bonus, where you're like, this is fun. I like doing this with you. Where you are imagine if you were on a beautiful ride, a train ride. You are already on it. You're on a train ride. Maybe you're on a roller coaster, whatever your vibe is. And you're like, man, this ride, I want to get off this train. This train's awesome. Would a partner want to jump in that train with you? The right person for you? Would they want to jump in that train with you and be like, this is cool. I like this. I like this flow. I like this orbit. That's what this is about. Being in that free, detached place. And hear me when I say that's always when your partner comes in and he is responding to you, right? So knowing that in that you're also very clear on what you value and what's important to you. When you say, okay, you buckle up, let's go, right? This is so good, you guys. This is so good. This is so good. Okay. Oh my gosh, we are flying by. Okay. So there's something, okay, I want to ask you guys, because I wrote this down and it's interesting because I just kept feeling so called to talk to you guys about this. And I'm like, maybe I'm feeling into what would support you. And also I can easily weave it into the topic, but I want to know if it's important to you guys. So in the feminine psyche, we have these different archetypes that live in the field, right? That also we channel, right? Or that we operate in, that are very common amongst all women. And there's names to them. And learning about these two archetypes has been super powerful for me in my life and in my relationships and in dating. So with that, would it be interesting or fascinating to you guys for me to spend any time sharing that with you and talking about them? Because what I've found is that when you know about these archetypes, when you're in an experience or a process where you're feeling off, or you've forgotten your power, you've forgotten your heart, you've forgotten who you really are, it's helped me catch and say, oh, whoa, I'm being her right now. Candy says, yes, please. And for those of you who are stopping on, I have an allergic reaction, okay? I'm not quasi Hunchback Notre Dame. Sunita says yes, Julie says yes. Okay. So it's actually Doug Brackman who taught me this. So before I go into teaching these, I want to give the challenge homework, and then I'll spend some time teaching you these two feminine archetypes and understanding them and their power and when they're untamed um, and to support you guys. So before we go into that, your challenge homework is to, for my single ladies, you are going to call up two best friends. Okay. So I want you to write down two best friends right now, or think of two best friends. Ah, everyone loves the dog. Think of two best friends and who he's the best. He really is amazing. Who are they? Think of them right off the bat, two best friends. And what you're going to do is you are going to call them today and you're going to say, I am ready to meet my dream partner. Today I'm going to be blank to welcome it. Today I'm going to be blank and you're going to fill in the blank. Okay, I am ready to experience my dream relationship. Today I'm going to be blank to welcome it. You are going to decide what that blank is. But the blank is a way of being, right? It could be powerful. It could be unapologetic. It could be soft. It could be open. Now, the reason that I'm wanting you to call your best friend and to share it is because you guys know what abracadabra means. I create as I speak. I create as I speak. And the quickest way for me when I'm coaching people, when I'm helping people, even when I'm just talking to someone random, I can literally tell you about their majority of their life within majority of their life in general, not super, from, a broad viewpoint, just from hearing the way that they talk and how they talk about things, right? Our voice is so powerful. Really think about that. We have this life force, we have this spirit, we have this gold that's inside of us, and we're creating in relationship all the time. Look at anything that's created, right? They communicated with their voice. Your voice is a beautiful gift. And so by you calling and you're declaring to your best friend, I am ready to meet my dream partner. And then being curious, notice if you're like, that's cheesy. Notice if you're like, am I really ready? Notice if you're like, really like, this is also an opportunity for you to look at anywhere that you haven't been fully owning that, right? Or anywhere that you've been saying, oh, like next year. So it's a challenge. So remember, if there's anything that comes up, challenge yourself. And this may be really easy for you. You might be like, oh my gosh, this is cake. Perfect. Still do it. Right? So I'm ready to experience. I think I gave you guys the wrong one. I'm sorry. That was the relationship one I just gave you. Whoops. Okay, here it is. Sorry if I confused you. There we go. I'm ready to meet my dream partner. Today I'm going to be blank. So whatever your blank is, you are going to operate in that today, right? So if you say powerful or you say open throughout the day, I am open. Now, this comes back to in the beginning when I was referring to what we do is working on an intellect of the being. So remember, it doesn't need to make sense. If you say open, I want you to be open to the barista, right? Open. I'm not saying give them your social and make out with them at the front. I mean, if you want, but you're practicing embodying that experience that you desire to see on earth, that you desire to have in relationship. It starts today. It starts with you. It's up to you. You go first and he responds. And I'll give you an example, even though don't be attached to the example I'm going to give you, because remember, this works and the mind doesn't need to get it. Meaning it doesn't have to make complete sense. So when I say I'm open, if that's your thing, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't really need to, it's not gonna make a big deal. Like you go on that rabbit trail of like, oh, tomorrow or another time, that's when you get to catch it and say, I'm open now. Is it with the grocery clerk, right? To give you an intangible example of something that I don't want you to be attached to is men will approach you when they know that they'll approach someone who's warm and friendly. So a girl who walks into wherever, Jamba Juice, and she's being open, he is literally 300% more likely to approach her. 300% more likely to approach her. There's studies on this. I've seen the results of it a million times than if she's not, because she is open for it. She's open, right? So notice how it was just her commitment to being that, and the byproduct was she got asked out by an amazing man, went on an amazing date, da 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 da. Right? So there's like an example of the impact that your way of being, how that impacts the experience that you have. So Jessica says, I get to figure out how to show up. Beautiful. So figure out what that word is for you, okay? And then after you're done, you're going to go inside of the challenge group after you talk to your 2 best friends and you've committed to being this today. And you're going to share, I did it and what opened up for you. And then we're going live again tomorrow, this time also with Chelsea, and who I cannot wait for you guys to meet at let me look at the time. Yeah, at 12 Central. So 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be live tomorrow and we're going to continue to dive into he responds to you. So what's beautiful is you're also going to notice as you're embodying, and I want to do this with you guys. So mine is powerful. I am powerful. So as we embody that, you literally see things around you shift to mirror that concept of self, the belief you have, right? So if you desire, and it's also if any of you guys need support figuring out those ways of being for you, what I want you to do that is what you can do is look at the vision you said you had for the world and what you want to see and pick one of those ways of being and choose to embody that. Just think about it. It's an energy that exists in the big magic, in the field, that you are being the portal point for it to make its way into this experience. And then you're also a magnet to experience that in partnership, in relationship. I love Candy. If I wanted to be spoiled and treated like a queen, what would a good word for that be? I love you. Okay, adored? You want to be adored? I love being adored. Is that it? Like, you want to feel adored? How do you want to feel? So close your eyes and put your hand on your heart. Everyone can do this and think, how do I want to feel in my dream partnership? How do I want to feel? That's beautiful. Candy said celebrate it. That's amazing. So then you would be I am celebration. So then you can embody celebration and gratitude. Oh, everything's a celebration. Oh my gosh, this is the best coffee ever. I hate Starbucks and this is good, right? Everything's a celebration. Admired, appreciated. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is so good. So playing in this protected. Wow, this is so good. Yes, courageous has been my word. So committing to that today. And then sharing it in the group. And remember, you guys, yes, there's a magic. There's things that are going to happen that you couldn't have predicted because that's the way it works. And we see it all the time. So just allowing yourself to play in the energy of that and remembering that he responds to you. The world responds to you. You go first. It's up to you. And we're cutting and deleting and any programs that say otherwise. Control, delete, calling power back. I go first, and then he responds. I am powerful, and my boyfriend responds. I am lovingly powerful, and the world responds. Okay? And happy is not too general. As long as it resonates with you, Molly asked if happy is too general. As long as it resonates with you, that's what's important. Obviously saying I am Lego, that's not going to work, right? So we also have to have it make sense, prioritize. It's beautiful. So I'm going to share briefly on Aphrodite and Psyche, which I don't know if Doug talked about. Okay, so last weekend at Aaron's event, Doug also spoke, Doug Brackman, which he is my psychologist. He's been my psychologist for 2.5 years. He's amazing. He wrote a book called Driven, and he's taught me so much, you guys. I actually recently interviewed him when he was in Austin, and I'll share the interview sometime this year. um, and he taught me about Aphrodite and Psyche. Okay, so these are archetypes that live in that exist and that we can go to one or the other. Usually, and the idea is to be the whole, right? Obviously, to be the whole woman who is connected to spirit, who is feels safe in herself, powerful in her body, um, in in this life and in partnership. Now, does that mean that we're always there? No, right? Absolutely not. The intention is to be here as often as possible. And learning about these two archetypes have really helped me identify and also see them in other women, and have so much compassion, relate, and also see them in myself. So everyone says Dougie Doug. So did Doug talk about Aphrodite? I wasn't there for his whole talk. Did he talk about Aphrodite and Psyche at all in his talk? I'm not sure if he did. I actually introduced, well, it was my ex-partner who's been working with Doug for about like 12 years. And so I started working with him. And then Aaron did as well a little bit, not too shortly after I started. And he's just been the psychologist for all of our friends. And he has a double PhD. He wrote a book called Driven, all about like the shame-based personality. And he's supported me so often. He's come into my programs and support the women. And I kept writing down, you guys, when I would write down in my notes for this week, and I've been thinking about this so much and receiving so much information for you guys, Aphrodite and Psyche kept coming up. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll make sure I talk about that. So please enlighten us. You got it, girl. So Aphrodite, she is the archetype that is a raging B word. When she is upset, she is very destructive. She is like a storm, right? If another woman comes in who she feels threatened by, she would want to go crazy on them, right? And be a hurricane. And just is a force that comes at you, that is like this, that comes at you. That's Aphrodite. Yeah, that's Aphrodite. And then we have Psyche. Psyche is when Psyche is upset, what's she do? She crawls in a hole, shuts down, and the extreme is wants to commit suicide, right? That's the extreme of Psyche. She just wants to die. She doesn't even want to be anything near anything. Versus Aphrodite, who's like freaking raging, right? So you have Psyche and you have Aphrodite, these two archetypes. And what Doug really helped me see is I was very developed in Psyche, was very more, when there was conflict, I was more comfortable with her, right? But then this last year, when a hard boundary for me was crossed, Aphrodite came alive, right? So I swung hard the other way and was just a freaking Aphrodite to the extreme. And then learning like, whoa, like it's the unhealthy power, right? And learning, how do I stay in a very, not unhealthy, but untamed, or how do I come back into a very healthy power? So it's beautiful. And Psyche, right, can be also, or Aphrodite can be manipulative. And I even see it in my adorable neighbor kid. She comes over the other day, and she's like 8 years old. She comes over because, we do puzzles, or I help her with her math homework, and we hang out. And she comes over and she walks in and she's like, man, my dad's been eating all the snacks I buy. And I was like, what are you trying, like, do you want to look in my pantry? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, go ahead. Whatever you want, right? So it's like learning manipulation at a very young age, or like we just learn these things. So there's Aphrodite and there's Psyche. Yeah, Candy says Aphrodite is like Kali. Yeah, Kali is intense. So Kali's like intense. So understanding this of like, wow, whenever we go to these certain archetypes, it's what I always ask, I'm like, what is it that I'm wanting? I'm wanting connection. I'm wanting this need met. Now, here's the beautiful thing. I know the divine masculine exists. How can I illuminate and invite that? Right? Because Psyche in partnership would then withdraw and run and go crazy. Not go crazy, withdraw, run, hide, and be very uncomfortable and upset. And there's no win. There's no win-win. Aphrodite would create massive conflict, right? Where the woman in me who knows her value, knows the power of her heart, can recognize Aphrodite, love her, right? I love you. Can recognize Psyche, I love you. Holding those different parts that exist in me and saying, okay, I trust and know and I believe in the divine masculine. I believe in the divine masculine in myself, right? Because it's masculine. It's a masculine trait to make a request, and feminine, right? Depending on the way in which you do it, but to hold that bar is masculine. So actually, the more divine masculine, divine, right? I'm saying divine masculine I embody, the more actually woman I am, right? So because when we're predominantly feminine in nature, female, it's about the more we embody the divine masculine, the more of a woman, and the same for a man. The more he embodies the divine feminine, the more of a man, right? So recognizing, okay, when Aphrodite comes alive, when Psyche comes alive, it's being very quick to see that, to come back to, okay, I'm a powerful woman. I know my value. And I'm leading with an open heart. What is it that I want? I'm wanting connection, right? Looking down on this, in order for us to create the world that we want to see, it's everyone doing this process right here. It's everyone wrecking with their own shadow, right? And saying, okay, I really want my face pet. I love when my face is pet. Or it's, I need to have a conversation around this topic. I'm feeling XYZ. So how can I do it in a way that illuminates the divine masculine in front of me, that illuminates security, that illuminates power, that illuminates trust, right? And coming from that space. Or, hey, babe, I'm feeling a little hurt and I want to feel connection. Will you just pet my face? I would love that. Okay, babe. And then what happens is they do it. And you're like, this is amazing. It's really that easy. I remember the first time I started learning about just making requests, you guys, and I literally wanted to die. I was like cringing. It was so uncomfortable for me. And now it's a lot easier because you start to see the value of it and how easy it is for them to step up and to do what's important to you as you ask from that empowered place. So good. Andy says she loves that. So Aphrodite and Psyche. Those are the two. So asking yourself, where do I go? Do I go to Aphrodite or do I go to Psyche? Because they're both great, but neither create harmony in partnership, right? So the more when we create harmony in ourselves, we can then allow that flow to happen in our world and in relationship. So allowing yourself to get familiar and then to come back to, okay, what does it feel like to really know the value of my heart? And what Doug always says to me, you guys, that I love so much, he's like, women will never, they'll get how powerful they are, or loved they are and adored by men, but not to the extent that a man really feels and sees it. So I thought that's so beautiful because I think about, I'm like, wow, like to think about how much the divine masculine truly loves and truly cherishes us. Like to know that it's so much to the point where we may not fully get it, especially with our partner. I'm like, that's so special. And that's so special and beautiful. Aww. Amelia says, I dabbled in this with my fiance who died 2 years ago. I was opening up and then bam, he got taken from me. Thank you for sharing this. Love. And I see your question, Candy. I'll share about that. Thank you I'm so acknowledge you for being here and for being open to love, Amelia. We're here holding you with so much love and grace and possibility. And it sounds like you have a beautiful angel who's guiding you and supporting you in this. So thank you for being here and for sharing that. Um, Candy said, I'm still a little confused over Psyche. So think about like Psyche, when she's upset, she runs and hides, right? She runs and hides and goes in the closet and shuts the door and she's like, don't talk to me. So Psyche, it just runs and hides. Aphrodite doesn't run and hide. Aphrodite wants to fight. Aphrodite stays in the room and wants to wreck anything that threatens her relationship, right? So she Aphrodite, it goes is like a hurricane. Psyche wants to, when she's upset, she's like this. She just goes like, don't, like she just wants to, she gets really and gets depressed and sad and sobs and goes to sadness, or Aphrodite goes to anger, rage, right? Goes to anger is healthy. So I should say she goes to rage. Okay. And Psyche goes to like super depressed. Amelia says, I was the runner hiding. Beautiful. Great to see that. Um, Someone asked, how do you draw back into your divine feminine when your Aphrodite destroys everything? First step is love, right? How can I hold and love this part and not make it wrong? And a lot of times that can be scary because for some of us, it can feel like we can feel shame. My Aphrodite, you guys, and I've been in high school or college, was in multiple. I've never actually shared this public, but with my friends, yes, I was in multiple fistfights, and was very I had this all these emotions I didn't know how to deal with, and when someone confronted me, I was in that experience. I was in, like, I would be physically aggressive and get into actual fights with people. Right. So that's Aphrodite. And to wreck with that later in my life, when I started doing all this work, a lot of shame came up because I was someone who harmed another person. So to be with that was tough, like feeling those feelings. But when we actually feel those feelings, what happens and we bring them to light is the light touches the dark and the dark disintegrates. That's why I'm able to share it with you guys too, right? The light just, and then the light touches it and grabs it, and we also come more into our bodies when we do this process. We come more into our bodies. We feel more whole and safe in our bodies. We're actually able to also have a deeper, more potent, powerful, beautiful, connected partnership. So sometimes looking at the way that our Aphrodite, and thank you for sharing that, as I think that's beautiful medicine for multiple people who are on this live, looking at that side and saying, okay, what do I get to make amends with? Where do I get to forgive? Where do I get to send love? And knowing that whatever it may be, the light can touch it and dissolve it for there to be complete peace there. Okay. So, and I want everyone to know that every single one of you on this live, there's nothing that makes you unworthy, unlovable to be in partnership. There's nothing, like, there's no story, there's no, and notice if you have anything that fights me on that, because that gets to be dissolved and touched by light, and we can send so much love to the point where it's like, wow, like we just integrate back into another piece of ourselves and open ourselves up to true love. What if everyone in our world believed that? What if we had a world that offered that? Now, you have the permission slip to grant yourself to that now. Grant that to yourself now. And you get to be so comfortable in your partnership that you get to share everything with him. When someone years ago, I learned this, I was like, everything? I have to share everything with him? So when I first started practicing this, I remember being like wanting to throw up. Now it's like cake, right? So because we're bringing things sometimes to light that we haven't brought to light, it can be really scary. Candy says it would be heaven on earth. Yes, absolutely. That was the message I was receiving this morning. It was so much like, what does it look like to create heaven on earth? And knowing that we have the power to allow that energy to flow through us, to embody that, to be that, to then allow the world to follow. We go first, and then he responds. We are powerful creatures. And may we remember that. May we remember that. We are powerful creatures. May we remember that. So you go first and he responds. I love you guys. This has been an amazing live, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow. I cannot wait to go into the Facebook group as well and to read all of your posts from all of you guys doing the challenge today, from calling your two best friends and from sharing that you're ready for your dream partner. And as you are operating in the openness, whatever your word is, let it be a word that you know is an area that you get to step into to create that dream partnership. So I love you guys. Have the most beautiful, magnetic, powerful day. And I will see you tomorrow with Chelsea as well. Okay? Mwah!